And that's not easy here on planet Earth, because everything on planet Earth is pulling us towards matter. Everything, the stimulation in TV, the EMFs, the cell phone towers, schools, advertising, everything you interact with in the world is having an effect to try to pull you into something. And so from my perspective, to say to those things, hey, that's nice, thank you, and yet I'm looking for something a little bit, something more. It's perpetual work. I learned this in the East. It's easy. Here's how you do. You take a big, nice breath in. And what you'll notice, the key is noticing the anatomy of the breath. So you take the breath in, there's a little space at the top of the breath. And then you breathe out. And then when you breathe all the way out, there's a space at the bottom of the breath. And then if you breathe in, again, and at the top of the breath. It's kind of like a pendulum. You know, a pendulum swings, and it goes all the way one side, and then for a certain point, it's in total neutrality. Right before it starts to go back down, it stops for a moment. Neutrality. Then it swings, drops all the way down, goes up to the other side, and it hangs there for a moment. Well, the breath is the same. Right in between is the key. Literally, we call it space between the breath. That is still point. So here's how we do. Take another nice big breath in. As the breath comes out, relax, let go. And then just drop right into that space in between the breath. There's a little space, and just hold that for a moment. It kind of feels a little bit like holding the breath. You'll see if you hold it very gently, hold it with care, as though it's like a little flame that you're just getting started, you know, and you're kind of just holding that. What you'll see is that the breath keeps going. The breath remodulates like it does when you sleep. Yet you start to kindle this little flame. So for me, every day when I drop into still point, I take the breath and then I drop in and I just kind of hold it here. I often refer to this as holding neutrality. Another way you can do it, which we'll look at some different ways throughout the weekend, is you can take a breath in and then right at the top, same thing. Just stop right at the top, which feels a little bit like holding the breath. And just, again, hold, kindle that space. Breath will keep going. Don't be concerned. That breath can take care of its own. It's fine. Yet we're staying in that neutral zone. And just rest here for a moment. For me, in my life, when I drop in here, I don't even do the breath. It's like a light switch for me. The more I've done it so much that for me it's like, oh yeah, my perception just goes, yeah, neutrality. Kind of like tuning. You know, you can tune your experience you can tune it to thinking, you can tune it to emotions, or you can tune it to neutrality. So for me, when I rest here, this is a very basic process, yet this is going to be, you know, what I just showed you right here, this is the key that I use in my life constantly, no matter what comes at me, and a lot of stuff comes at me. Not like I'm sitting around all day long in nirvana somewhere. I'm in the world, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. At all of us. And so yet every day I get bump into something and I say, oh yeah, okay, here, let's hold here. When I hold here, you know, this is the interesting thing, is you're resting here, I want you to look around. I want you to take a quick peek. As you're resting here, try to hold on to a thought or an emotion. It's not so easy. Try to look for an area of tension or pain in the body. If you can come out of here and find one of those things. Yet if you're resting here, It's not easy. Anybody get a sense as you're resting right here? Anybody get a sense of, does it feel good? Yeah, I see lots of heads nodding. For me, it's like, wow, I'm home again. In my life, when I go around, everything's happening, I drop in here, I'm like, okay. I don't care where I am. You can put me anywhere. You can put me in Las Vegas. It doesn't matter, because I drop in here, and here it is. I've just puffed out this space. All that other stuff is secondary. The first day or two here, in our seminars, we call it cooking. And first couple of days, stuff is going to likely come up. Whatever comes up here in this space, welcome it. And we're going to show you how. Right now on planet Earth, people typically reject everything. They judge it, they analyze it, they have cynicism, they have an emotional reaction, they have some kind of a resistance. The whole personality is based on resisting things that it didn't like. Sad but true. And so what we want to do is we want to flip that. Why would we have that kind of experience? That's not who we are. It's just training. So what I want to suggest, whatever comes up here, welcome it. Some emotion comes up here, some challenge from home, some situation, just say, okay, good. What's going on, yogis call it popcorn. They say when you go to the ashram, when you go to the retreat, they say it's like popcorn. The karmas start to cook, and when they cook, they pop. And they say, you go to the real yogis and they say, whatever's going on, they say, oh no, it's just karma. Some of this problem, it doesn't matter, it's just karma. It's just karma. They say if there's a lot of karma, there's no prana, there's no energy. You pop the karmas and it frees up, because inside of those thoughts and emotions is energy. Injuries is energy. The psyche's just like that. People get up where they start getting to the heart and getting to the place of real energy of the universe, and the psyche starts kicking in. And it throws up an objection. It throws up an emotion. It throws up a judgment or a cynicism, and it whacks back down. And then you got to spin around and deal with that. Well, first day or two we're here, the key to that, when that happens, something pops up. Just say, oh good, thank you. If it's showing up here, I guarantee you it's showing up everywhere else in your life. The inner critic, that inner thing that says you're not good enough. These are the kinds of objections that people have constantly going on. Well, that's okay. We don't want to resist those things. We don't want to say those things are bad. All we want to do today and in the next couple of days is say thank you. Then you can delete anything going on in here. The computer is like a reflection of our own perception. You can delete anything going on in here. This is, I tell you, this is the power, from my perspective, of the Stillpoint process. It's like a delete key. You give me anything that comes up in my life and I say, okay, I like it, that's great. I don't like it, that's okay, let's dissolve it. If you don't dissolve it, then guess what? Yogis call it karma. You have something going on here that you have going on, an injury, an emotion, some belief, some judgment, some program. Well, like your computer. When you turn your computer on, what do you get? Whatever program you have. But when you turn on every day, whatever you have here is what you're going to get every day. Whether you've decided to have it there, whether it got conditioned in you by your parents or society, doesn't matter. The program doesn't care. The program's there, you're going to get that. So from my perspective, every day I want to say neutrality. Neutrality comes right in. It says, pop something up. I say, okay, take a good look. Is that a good program? Nah, I don't think I like that one. Welcome it. Does that make sense? Everyone go ahead, take a nice breath in. We're really a seminar community dedicated to helping share tools. And so often people get confused that the laser is the main tool. To me, the laser is secondary. The main tool is perception, which is really the most powerful muscle going on the planet. I want to say one more thing before we shift gears. I don't want to do a long night tonight. This work can be a lot. Everybody go ahead, take a moment, drop in. Take a breath in right there and just drop right in. And just hold. All right, let's do a little process. We'll finish up tonight with a very simple process. As I hold Stillpoint, I'm going to walk you through how we're going to go right into this process called quantum field clearing. As I'm holding Stillpoint right here, when I'm holding this, for me it's like I can feel this subtle essence, energy, whether you call it prana or chi or universal energy or scalar or quantum, whatever name, neutrality I often call. When I'm holding this right here, for me it feels like this is like blowing a balloon up. The key to it is, I said last night on the live stream, it's kind of like when you're filling up a tire and you put that thing on there. If you're too far to one side, it doesn't work. If you hold it right in that middle right place, the tire starts filling up. Well, when I'm right in this right place, if the breath is going, it doesn't work. If I'm right here, this space right here is opening. I feel it kind of going like this. So just kind of open this up. If you feel it open, great. If not, just envision, just kind of open this space up right here. Easy process. What I want you to do with your perception is scan. Look around. Start with the body. The body is a good place to start. Check in with your body. Is there anything going on in your body right now? Is there any tension? Is there any discomfort or pain or stress? Health challenge? If there is, great. Use your perception and go up to those cells. Go up to that area. And simply welcome. From a place of Stillpoint, simply say, aloha, welcome. Don't try to energize it, don't try to heal it or fix it. Simply welcome it as though it's a long-lost friend that's been holding something very dear for you. As soon as I welcome the area that I had that was kind of cooking a little bit, it starts to unwind. I felt my body start to breathe. Kind of feels like using the unwind program. The body starts to unwind. Whew. Until my body just took another little sigh, dropped in, right back into Stillpoint. Tell you, a lot of people go through life holding on to things, injuries, emotions, cell memory. Now look around again. Now scan around one more. This go round, scan and see if there's any emotional stuff going on. Anything cooking, anything going on with a friend or a loved one. Maybe something with a work situation or a change or a house or living arrangement or anything. Whatever, if there's something there. If there's not, go look, find another area, an organ or a situation you've been working on in your body. See, this is like deleting things. We're just bringing it up. We're saying, oh, okay, you got a program on your computer you don't like, pull it up, click on it, and what do? You say, well, gee, we're not going to use this. Why use the available energy for this? So you clear it. So pull up, see if there's that. Maybe it's a program that you've been using in your life around abundance, around having money, resources, or around a pattern in your life. Whatever it is, pull it up right here. into the screen of the quantum field. Most people resist these things. They avoid them. They act like they're not there. Yet they are there, and the problem is they're there and they keep bringing things to people's experience. So we want to, my view, I always say, if something's there, you want to work on it, don't shy away from it. Pull it up. Amplify it. Let's really bring it here. And as soon as I bring it there, what do I say? I simply say, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. As soon as I welcome it, it starts to dissolve. It starts to unwind. Whew. Till it just drops right in to the space between the breath, right back here. This is back. This is going to be our home this weekend. We're going to keep coming back to this still point. We do process, we come right back. We go have lunch, we come right back. That's great. See, that's just two things right there. In my life, every day, people, you can go through life collecting things constantly all day long. New injuries, new emotions, new judgment. In my life, every day I take a moment, I open up, I rest here, and I find a couple things to dissolve. I don't think about them, I don't analyze them, I don't process them. I bring it up, whatever it is. If it's got to do with a friend, I don't just bring the friend up, I bring the whole thing up. Me, the friend, whatever's going on there. I say, oh great, okay, aloha, thank you. Let it dissolve. The goal is not to fix it or think it or understand it. The goal is to welcome it and allow it to come back. When we welcome things from neutrality, you see, it doesn't work if you're not in still point. If you're in thinking or judgment or emotion and you try to welcome it, it's not going to work. You have to be in neutrality, because then what you're saying to that thing is, hi, I'm welcoming you from this essence. And that thing says, yes, that's the truth, and it unwinds. Let's do one more thing. There's something that's really good to do, particularly at the beginning of a retreat. Envision, this is another quantum field clearing tool. Envision a long laser, like one of those ones from the movies, those lightsabers. And go around. I do this a lot. This is a great tool. We call it quantum field clearing again. Go around the outside of your field. I envision it going out to the outside of the field. And I'm just going to go around, and yogis, shamans say that a lot of people have connections to their friends, their loved ones, their communities, their other people, even people that aren't here anymore, parents, it could be anyone, through the chakras. And these cords keep people dealing with certain kinds of emotional spectrum, different energy. So every day when I do a process, I often go around and I just envision, I just go around and I cut any cords. I go real slow and I just see who pops up. Whoever it is, even if it's my friends, my family, closest people to me, I cut any cords. And I'm not saying I'm not going to be there. I'm saying I'm not going to be there from a place of emotion. It's like a boat. You go into a boat, a rowboat, and you go out and you got a hole with water coming in. Well, that boat's not going to bring you anywhere. Well, this quantum field, if you have emotion streaming in through the chakras, it's going to be very hard for it to stay in neutrality. So I cut any cords and I say to anyone, I'm here for you from a place of neutrality. Not going to be here from a place of second chakra or this chakra or what have you, because it's not good for them, it's not good for me. So take a moment, just go around, cut any cords. And if I see a cord with a friend, it's not like I say, oh, that person's bad, that's no good. It's not like that. Everybody here has got energy connections to everything. It's what's happening here. It's not a big deal. I just cut it and say, that's okay, I'm going to be here and relate to you from here. So take a moment and go around. You'll tell when you find a good one, because when I first started doing this, the first occasion, I spent like an hour just going around, see every person I had known, everything I just went through, old friends, old situations, family. Go slow and just start for a moment. Powerful, powerful tool. I can tell when I'm about good in one process because I take a sigh. When I drop back into Stillpoint, that's my experience saying, all right, that's good, you just cleared. If I have some issue in my life going on, I tell you, I don't try to fix the issue. I slow down and I say, well, often happens where you get caught up in things and you try to fix it and then you realize, wait a moment, drop in here. I make sure I go around. You'd be amazed how many situations there's an issue and I go around and I say, okay, what's going on here? And then there's a person I was relating to earlier who got upset in the energy and I just clear it and boom, the situation's gone. This is a powerful tool. It seems simple, it can seem silly, yet I tell you, it's like a garden. You grow a garden and guess what? You got rodents coming in and your neighbor's got weeds coming in. Things coming in. Well, guess what? You say, well, okay, I want to grow in this garden, and I'm going to protect the space of the garden. So you put up some rocks, or you put up a little fence, and you say, you got to stay out of here, everything else. We're doing the growing in here. Well, this is the same. If you don't cultivate this, everything's going to be coming in here. Emotions, thinking, injuries, all the impressions. Yogis call them impressions. They say little ones come in here on the planet. They have no impressions. They're totally open until they get barraged with all these impressions, and then they start to organize around the impressions. Well, when I do this, I say first, before we clear the impressions, I got to make sure there's nothing coming in. I usually do that first. Then I look around and I say, okay, what's going on in here? Anything going on? I say, okay, let's dissolve it. Welcome, thank you. Welcome, thank you. Which inevitably leads, and right now I feel my sacrum, the sacral area, there's a muscle in front of the sacrum we call sacred muscle. And when I clear one or two things every day, this sacred muscle starts to pump. The biggest nerve ganglion in the body is right here in front of the sacrum. It's like the tree of life has a big root. And that root goes like this. It goes in, and then it goes out. If you're not sure you feel, anyone feel a little bit? If you're not sure you feel it, squeeze the muscles you use to go to the restroom. Just squeeze them in a little bit. And then relax and let it out. The perineum, same muscles you use right at the base. Some call it the PC muscle. Squeeze it in a little bit. And then out. Now I want you, as you go all the way in, and then drop into the space right in between. And hold it there, just like Stillpoint. Hold it right in the space in between. Very subtle. Yogis and Taoists call this, they say, you want to hold this area like it's an egg. Not too tight or you crush it, not too loose or you drop it. Well, if you hold it right there, anyone feel energy now at all? When I tap into this right here, for me, it's like tapping into a well. You know, you tap in, the water starts going up. For me, water is like neutral energy going. That's why every tradition calls this the tree of life, or the staff of life, or the bridge of light, or the medical symbol has a staff in the middle with a scalar wave and a gland at the top. It's a reference, and then the opening of the right and left sides of the frontal lobe, left side of the brain frontal lobe. This is the anatomy. This is the subtle anatomy of the human condition. Every tradition, that symbol, the Western medical symbol, was handed down from the folks in Egypt, from Judeo-Christian used it, the Kabbalists, the Gnostics, the folks in India, South America. Everyone uses it because it's a symbol of alchemy. To me, it's the purest language we have. That symbol is it's a key. To me, it's a key. That symbol is a key to understanding how to shift from the body into the nonlinear state of who we really are, the subtle experience. So as this energy comes up the spine, we're not going to focus too much on this right now. This is the next step in the Stillpoint process we call activation, where energy is flowing up the spine Every day when I clear a couple things, I don't do it to clear the things. I do it because if I clear a couple things, the energy is not distracted and I feel it start to flow up my spine. So every day I go in the world, I get knocked around, then I find a space, I clear. It's like kind of like Superman, you know, going in the world, then says, takes a moment, ducks behind something, knocks off the clothes, and oh, it's Superman. For me, it's like, oh, the world's going on, and take that stuff off and say, okay, super conscious energy, you come in now. Those things of the world, the physical, the emotional, the psychic things, dissolve them, and this energy starts to course and flow, and it comes up here and it nourishes into what we call ambrosia process that we'll cover later in the weekend, where this, and for me, I feel right now, the saliva is opening in the back of the throat, which releases amrita, the sacred essence, nectar in the glands. This area is opening up. Why? Because it's being nourished with this neutral essence. Every tradition refers to this process. This isn't something new. They call it the fountain of youth, the elixir of life. Ambrosia, amrita, DMT. This is the secret. It's the essence. This opens up, and to me, this is where, when I'm done with the session, I'm here. This is why I do this every day. And this, to me, is what we're here in a retreat to uncover, to open. It's like a diamond. We polish off the things, and then the sparkle happens from within. To me, this is what makes me feel so blessed and just completely without words to the opportunity of being on this planet. And just rest here a moment. Just rest. As I was about to say something, I felt the sacrum kind of kick in, and energy. You know, this is like tuning. You tune to this, and the energy of the universe starts to tune you. Energy comes up. Occasionally it'll open up an area. It could open up the heart area. The lotus. Many traditions refer to the lotus at the lotus of consciousness that opens up. The lotus. Universal symbol to consciousness. When I get to this point in the process, I just dissolve into this point in the process. I could zip off when I do this for 10, 15 minutes, or I could come back for an hour later, and I come back and I say, oh, good, it's like bathing. The real bath for me every day is in this. Perfectly natural process. This to me is the purpose of the human faculty and design. And yet most of our people are so busy thinking and dealing with things that no one's showing them how this is so easy. All right, that's really good. At a certain point, I drop into Stillpoint. Wow, feels good. Does that feel good for anybody? That's sweet.